Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
This is our weekly podcast episode where we talk about what's going on in the world of DC, Batman, and whatever it is that's the big thing that needs talked about or that we have pre-recorded because there's nothing else going on. Is there anything going? Oh wait, there's a thing on the screen. Oh yeah, I guess something big with DC dropped. The new DCU
I'm pointing at the thing for
launched.
listeners.
The new DCU has launched. It is officially upon us with the premiere of Creature Commandos with 2 episodes that dropped on Max on December 5th. We're going to talk about that in a sec.
Yes,
we're going to talk about that in a sec. There's some other cool stuff that's been going on in the world of DC and Batman specifically, which is the you showed this to me, Matt. Why don't you tell us about what's going on? Because as we predicted. Looks like the Penguin's already getting some early award buzz. Tell me what you got.
So the Critics' Choice Television Awards have 4 nominations for the Penguin, and it's all most of it's acting. So best lead actor for Colin Farrell, best lead actress for Kristen Milioti.
Yep.
Best supporting actor for Deidre O'Connell, who
played his mom.
Okay, and then it did said
you can't talk today.
I've had too much coffee.
You have.
Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Limited Series is the other thing it got. So
yeah, all of those across the board. Yeah.
It's what we said before when the show was over, even though I was kind of on the show, it was like the acting's outstanding and stellar. So this is just going to show that, I think now you're just going to see as the different awards happen, you're just going to boom, every single thing, this is going to be on it.
Because I think even we said it's like, you can't not nominate the Penguin and without facing a true torrent of backlash. Like, you know what I mean? It would be like if they didn't nominate Shogun this past year. Yeah. You know, like it's like you just don't not nominate the best show of the year. Like, so that's really cool. And you know, it's a, you know, again, these are just nominations. They haven't won anything, but even like the nominations themselves are like, that alone is a win for DC. Yeah. That they need is just that recognition of a nomination.
And I did forget that they're an Independent Spirit Award for Best Lead Performance by a Female, also Kristen Milioti.
Yeah, I think Kristen Milioti, it's so funny when this happens, when it's like, I mean, Colin Farrell obviously deserves it.
Yeah.
But I would not be shocked if both Kristen Milioti and Deirdre O'Connell completely, like, the two of them walk away with so many nominations too, as seems to happen a lot of times, is when a lot of these nominating committees really love stellar supporting actors.
Yeah.
And we've really, because those are the ones who become the next great lead actors. We all know who the great lead actors are. We want to see who the supporting actor nominations are, I feel like. So
I think that's true.
That's really cool. And, you know, we haven't met up since Thanksgiving, because the last episode we did was our DC News Roundup, which was the week of the 22nd, and then we took a week off for Thanksgiving. So if you are in the US and you celebrate Thanksgiving, hopefully it was a good one.
Yes.
Matt didn't eat turkey.
Nope.
Matt doesn't like turkey.
Nope.
Add that to the very long list of things that Matt Hasso doesn't like. But Matt Hasso does like it when you guys subscribe to our channel if you're watching us on YouTube.
I love subscribers.
Love subscribers. Don't ever.
Too much.
Oh, wow. I'm leaving that in, but
you got to leave it in.
All right. Let's get to what the people came here for today, which is our review of the first 2 episodes, the 2-episode season, who knows, we'll see, premiere of Creature Commandos from the mind of James Gunn, brought to us on Max. It's we've been a long time to get here, Matt.
Yes.
It feels like ages ago than when James Gunn was just announced as the new head of the DC Studios, let alone that announcement video of here's the teeny tiny tip of the iceberg of what we're planning for the first chapter of Gods and Monsters. Well, here are the monsters.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the monsters?
I literally like to check. You know what I forgot to check on, and if you have a way to do that while I'm talking. So the thing that kind of I was curious about, and we looked at it, was what did he show everybody?
Yeah.
When he announced this, and I don't know if you're able to show that on the thing or whatever, but like
put it up on the screen.
You kind of see what they look like when you're saying it's this concept art, because it doesn't look like any of the comics.
No,
so,
I think this was concept art.
Yes,
they were working off of, because this looks way too much. This is like the what we got version, but on Wish. This is the Wish version of what we got.
Well, this is definitely like here. Somebody went, this is what we want to do, and then the animators took it to the next level.
Yeah, I think once they settled on an actual like who the animators were going to be, what the actual style was going to be, and we're going to get into that a little bit more later as we do our full breakdown here. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, literally a year ago, you know, this was on January 31st, 2023.
So
you know, we're coming up on 2 years ago. This was the first thing he did this whole intro, and then the first thing he said was Creature Commandos, and he showed us this, and the world collectively went, huh?
Yeah. Okay, I guess that's where we're going.
Okay. So, but now fast forward to almost 2 years later, and here we are with truly one of the most bizarre entries into any comic book franchise I have ever seen in my life. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, this is bizarre in ways I love, but it's also bizarre in a lot of ways. It's like, I'm still kind of processing this a little bit, you know?
Well, and I think what this kind of reminded me of, and I was thinking about this after you and I spoke on the phone earlier, is like, look.
Yeah, we talk, guys.
Yeah, every so often. What did Marvel do when it did Marvel Studios? They did not have X-Men, Spider-Man. They didn't have any of their big main titles. So they went and grabbed these random characters that some people knew about, but not a lot, made fantastic movies about them, give or take, depending, and made a successful franchise. Look, you and I both know, no matter what, even when a Batman movie's bad, it's going to make money.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to really advertise a Batman movie. You just need to tell everybody, hey, there's a Batman movie coming out next week.
Yeah. So making a good Batman movie / profitable Batman movie, easy. Making a good Superman movie.
I do feel like we're starting to get to a point where people are gonna start fighting back on that a little bit.
Well, let me finish my point.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think what you've got now is James Gunn saying, I'm not leaning on these guys. I'm going to give you guys the first thing I'm going to give you is something so out of left field, like he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. And if you knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, you didn't know it was that team, because that team hadn't been around but like 2 or 3 years.
And if anybody says otherwise, they're lying. They're lying. They're lying. They're lying because that's a fact.
Or they're the 3 people that bought that comic.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like the comic. There was no version of the Guardians of the Galaxy comic books that was that specific lineup.
Yes.
So if anybody says, no, I read one, it's like before the movie came out. No, you didn't. That doesn't exist.
That came after.
There was a run of that team that came out after the movie.
So with that in mind, if you can grab these random characters and give us something that's good, that entertains us, that we all get behind, then, like, no kidding, Superman's going to be good and people are going to be looking forward to it. Pardon me. So I think that's where I think this is an interesting take, a unique take, but it's also James Gunn. I mean, this is, this is one of the most James Gunn things I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is
110% James Gunn. This is if you took James Gunn and squished him down into an extract and put him inside a little cartridge like this, I could put him in my vape pen and get high off James Gunn Kush. Like,
well,
this is Ohio, this is legal.
Look, he was already a proven commodity. He had 2 very successful Guardians movies when DC pulled him away. From or when Marvel let him go and they got him.
Yeah, Marvel had already fired once, and DC had already said, "Hey, we need you to fix Suicide Squad."
Well, that's where I would be curious. Like, what did they say? You can do whatever you want, and he said, "How about you let me do another Suicide Squad?" I don't know. My point is like, I like that you're not trying to give us the same thing we always have. You're giving us this Creature Commandos show that is. Nobody knows anything about it. So then it gives you more freedom to do whatever you want with it. I had a good time watching it. I thought it was really good. I mean, I'm looking forward to the show. I'm in.
I laughed so hard out loud by myself at some of the jokes in this show. Dr. Phosphorus, aside from being a complete and utter piece of shit, is one of the funny. He made me laugh so much. And the bride is not the character I thought was going to be the compelling one on this show, actually. And who'd have thought that a robot that can spew out stats about how many Nazis he's killed would bring me warm butterflies in my tummy? But there's just something about knowing that this robot killed a large number of Nazis that just makes you feel really good. You know what I mean?
As long as he knows what's a Nazi and what isn't.
As long as he knows what's a Nazi and what's not, because he has to check a couple of times in this show. But to be fair, Dr. Phosphorus acting a little Nazi-ish there at one point. So yeah, let's get into this thing, man, because there's so many characters who we have not been fully introduced to yet, and I think that's. We'll talk about this a little bit more. Actually, before we get into the full meat of the characters, there is one thing that you made me think of. I wanted to bring up, which is, this show is meant to be. When people talk about like it's confusing with like what is the start of the DCU? Is it Superman or is it this? And I think the way to look at it is the reason this show I think is going to work so well. I know the title Creature Commandos seems like an odd one to be your first one out of the gate. Undeniably it is. But I do think that this property on this level with a bunch of characters that are by no means like none of them are connected to any other, like they're not the villains of other DC characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
like we're not beholden to the heroes that they're associated with.
Yeah.
It's not like in the Suicide Squad movies where you've got Harley Quinn. It's like, well, okay, well now we have to introduce Batman at some point because she's a Batman, characters like that, or Captain Boomerang. It's like, well, now we have to throw the Flash in here. So these are all completely disconnected characters. This is a great way for James Gunn to not so much. I think this is going to be less of a story-driven show. I think this is going to be more character pastiche.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a lot more of just establishing the rules for the DCU. This show is meant to build the sandbox. Like this is the show that's going to establish what's canon and what's not. This is the show that's letting us know how it's going to be, what the rules are going forward. And so by having these wildly disconnected characters, like getting into the first episode now, we establish a lot of lore about the DCU. We know that obviously like magic and stuff exists in this world.
Yes.
Obviously, like Themyscira is known in like pop culture or zeitgeist, but it's not known if it's real or not. So I'm guessing Wonder Woman probably isn't. There's probably not a Wonder Woman yet in this. We know that James Gunn has said that the subtitle of Peacemaker season 2 might as well be The Justice League Never Showed Up in season 1. He said that on Threads. So like that's a thing. or in an interview. So yeah, there's and we established real quick, like pretty much that the events of the Suicide Squad, everything involving Rick Flag and Peacemaker
and Starro
and and the Weasel, all of that happened.
Yes.
And everything involving Waller's daughter outing what was going on at the end of Peacemaker season 1 happened.
Yeah.
So like all the big important plot points still seem to be the same. It's just the fringe details that are different.
Yeah.
The other thing that this show really got me thinking about with that was then, okay, well then thinking forward a little head to Superman, James Gunn has said that like, oh, this Superman this isn't his origin, but he's only going to be like a couple of years into it. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, so like Henry Cavill was only a couple of years into it. When
he was 2 days into it.
Seriously, it's like Man of Steel happens. It's he's been Superman for a week. By the end of BVS, it's been
6 months.
Well, I think it says like it's been like 18 months or something like that. So it's been like a year and a half. So by the end of the Snyder Cut or by Justice League, you got to figure it's been 2 years. If that. So we're really not doing that big of a reset as we think. When you think about like continuity wise, that's still the same amount of time in his career as Superman, really. I think it's just going to be approached differently, like the same amount of time, same amount of experience, just different experiences.
Well, yeah, we're skipping the origin, but we have a hero.
Yeah,
this Superman is already a hero.
This Superman already had his Man of Steel be whatever. Yes. We already had all that.
We didn't fast forward through several different very interesting storylines. He's been a hero for 2 years.
Yes, exactly. we're just there. And I think that, like I said, so I think going into the rest of our conversation, I think that's kind of where we're establishing we're at, is like, this is the laying of the groundwork. This is the world building and setting up of the rules of the DCU going forward.
This is the origin of the bringing together of Creature Commandos. This is not the origin of a superhero world. That has already happened.
Yes. Yeah. We are coming into a world where superheroes exist, magic exists. You're just going to meet the characters themselves and get their backstories as we need to. So getting into those characters, the ones we really get the most backstory on in these first 2 episodes are Rick Flag Sr. and the Bride. And we are not through with the Bride.
Yeah. And by proxy, Frankenstein's monster, whatever they call it.
And Frankenstein. Well, yeah, Frankenstein's monster, played by David Harbour.
Yes.
Oh God.
Which I'm excited because I did remind my wife while we were watching it, like, hey, James Gunn said if they're cast as the voice, that means they're playing him in live action. And Frank Grillo's even though this is the first time we're seeing him, he's at 3 times playing this character in 3 different things.
We're gonna see him playing Rick Flag Sr. 3 times in the next year. Because he's playing him on Creature Commandos now. We will see him in Superman in next July, and we will see him in Peacemaker season 2, which I believe drops after Superman, is what they said. So,
okay.
And apparently he's going to be like a big part of Peacemaker season 2. And as we kind of posited a few weeks ago, a lot of he's going to be seems like kind of a through line with the DCU. It seems like.
And it makes sense. I think it's a cool way to kind of bring, because I mean, again, it's gods and monsters. So if it's gods and monsters, as much as they didn't say there's a Wonder Woman, I know they said there's a Themyscira show.
Right.
But if you got gods,
Cersei, obviously Cersei exists.
Yeah. You've got gods, you got her.
Well, and this is Task Force M for monster.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got literally monsters fighting gods. So we're there.
So it's interesting.
It is. So with Rick Flag Sr., I want to talk about Rick Flag Sr. here. What is the one thing we've been harping on for months now is like, y'all got to address this lack of an age gap that senior and junior seem to have. They answer it in whichever was episode 1 or 2. I forget which. I think it was episode
near the first one with him and the
weird
queen who is not a queen. We're both thinking as a Highlander. I don't know.
We are going to talk about her in a bit. But yeah, so we get pretty much what we figured they were going to do, which is, Rick Flag Sr., got a girl pregnant at 18, joined up to be a supportive dad, and then you do the math on that, and I guess it figures that Junior probably joined up around 9/11-ish, give or take. Yeah. And if he was going to be a colonel by the time he died in the Suicide Squad. So we get that all answered. We also, we know that there's no longer a Mrs. Flag. We understand that she's no longer in. They set up some rules pretty quick to be like, hey guys, we're going to do some stuff with Rick. Just understand there's no moral quandaries. He is free and clear to do who and as he please.
As much as he tries not to.
Still wound up being one of my favorite scenes. And I'm usually not that guy, but that was so funny. Dr. Phosphorus, that whole bit at the door. Let's just give him a full minute.
Yeah.
No, wait. Why are you smiling? I'm not smiling. Everything about Alan Tudyk, just all of Alan Tudyk.
He always makes it awesome. He always makes everything awesome.
So you and I both had a similar, you more than me, but have brought up a similar thing with Rick Flag Sr. and Frank Grillo, which is just that, like, and the reason we bring it up, and the reason we bring this up is because we brought up that this was putting this back up on screen here, but this is kind of the concept art, not what he ultimately looks like. That does not look anything like Frank Grillo.
Doesn't look. Frank Grillo is a lot of things. A white guy, he is not.
He is he is Italian.
Yeah.
But it's not even just like that doesn't look like Frank Grillo. I mean, like from a skin tone perspective, that doesn't, like, I'm trying to pull up an actual
from the show
here.
Like the concept art, definitely they didn't have him in mind. He was not cast yet. I can kind of see with the show, you've just stylized Frank Grillo, but that is a really white dude. Hair aside,
this is a stretch. This is a stretch for saying that's Frank Grillo. When you remember that, like, this is what we've seen from the movie set.
Yes.
Like, I'm not buying that.
Like
that's side by side right there. So let's talk about this a little bit, because I have an idea, and I'm wondering if you have a similar idea. You know what I mean?
I think, let's see what, like, we can't tell until the show's over.
But if you had to make a shot in the dark prediction,
if something must happen to him through the show that by the end he doesn't have white hair anymore.
So the reason I bring that up is because, like, let's talk about him and the princess. There's this whole, because let's address it. They do it.
Yeah.
But it's in the scene where she first tries to seduce him. The way that scene is written.
Yes. One of two things.
one of a couple things. One, she's just a young, horny girl surrounded by people she hates, and this is the first, like, good-looking guy she's ever seen, and she's just like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
And if it's Frank Grillo, I'm not saying I'm a blamer.
Yeah.
Number two, I think she is way older than she seems.
Yes. Like, there's like, what is going on here? Because either one, Narnia is behind that wardrobe of hers, or two, there's some magical thing there that she is.
But also,
maybe it's her Lazarus pit.
Don't forget her mother. her weird zombie husk looking like mother thing. I think
I'm not buying that for a second.
I think this chick is feeding off youth or something.
Yes.
I think Cersei said she's like you stop me, like world is doomed. Like I think there's more to this. So I'm wondering if whatever it is that's keeping her youthful somehow before the end of this show makes Rick Flag Sr. a little bit more youthful and a little bit more Frank Grillo-y.
We'll see.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's not required, but it is just a weird look of like, again, I understand a stylized version of Frank Grillo.
It's too different. It's too different. Like he looks too much like regular Frank Grillo in this live action set. And again, like one thing I posited on the phone is just like, granted, this is just an animation. This is just a cartoon. They could have just told the animators, hey, here's the concept art we're going for.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. You know, who cares? It's a cartoon. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1, you know?
Yeah.
This Nightwing, Jason Todd, Robin animated thing that's coming out in a couple of years or whatever. Like, it's not going to be one. It's not exactly going to look human, you know, like I'm not worried about that. So, but it is like, but that's a stark difference. It's stark enough that if it's not addressed, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. It's not a make or break, but
no.
There's a part of me that's like, I hope something by the end, it makes more sense why either one, the cartoon doesn't look anything like him, or two, why he couldn't somehow have white hair in the movie.
I feel like there's an explanation coming. You know what I mean? I feel like there's gotta be. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the Creature Commandos. We brought her up already. Let's talk about the Bride, because I think Indira Varma is top billing on the show.
Yeah.
As the Bride. So I feel like she's going to be kind of I think she and Rick are going to be kind of our two leads, as it were.
I think so.
Also, Indira Varma has mad Game of Thrones credits. So you also getting Indira Varma is how you sell people on your show. But I will say her performance as the Bride in just two brief, 20+ minute episodes, some story, some elements we'll get into in a little bit aside. Such compelling character work with the Bride in these two episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, again, James Gunn we're going to keep harping on this. He says character first. Let's make cool characters. She's got a tragic story. As much as there were certain things I didn't want to watch, the story of her falling in love with the creator instead of who she was created to love is just
and
wow.
Here's it's curious to me that you said that she fell in love with him. I'm not certain she did.
No,
I'm not super certain that she, because of the way where she was at developmentally, like when she came back and found him dead, from a speech pattern, it seemed like she still wasn't fully like through those developmental. And so I'm almost wondering if, and I might be reading way too much into this, but I probably am. But I don't know. Something to me felt almost like we're gonna get another side to this story. Like, I'm wondering if we're gonna get, let's call him Frank. We'll call the monster Frank. I'm wondering if we're gonna get Frank's side too. Like, he went there, confronted him, and the doctor
tried to do something.
Like I'm not convinced we've gotten the whole story yet.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I firmly believe
But I'm also not convinced she was in love with him. I think I feel like the doctor may have been being a little predatory.
I don't know. Again,
because we're also talking about Dr. Frankenstein, who, let's be honest, historically, not a great human, not a great person. So, like,
from what we got in the second episode, they fell for each other unintentionally.
Fair. Now, yes, fair.
It could be totally like you're saying. Once we get into other parts, going like, "Oh no, he groomed her," or no, whatever. But I thought it was really cool. I don't know if we're skipping ahead. I did not need to see them having sex.
I didn't. It didn't need to be like, okay. So I want to be clear. Not being a prude. That's the boinking part of that scene went on way too long.
Yes.
Like the one with like played for laughs or not. I don't care if it's played for laughs or played for serious. Like because that obviously one, we had 2 in one episode.
Yes.
One is played for laughs and it is all granted they're both equally gratuitous when you really think about it.
Yes.
Like especially considering that like Rick and the princess get 2, they're just get 1, they're just kind of cut in half.
Yeah.
And then we get theirs all at once. They're both equally gratuitous, so it's not a matter of that. The one with the one with the doctor and the bride, I don't know, they held on some shots for a while.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
look, for lack of a better way to say it, I didn't need to see him on top of her.
Well, I didn't need to see him on top of her from that angle for that long.
Yeah, like the shot of them.
Was like, I'm by myself and I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like staring at this dude's ass for this long.
Yeah, the medium shot of them kissing and being close.
Yeah,
and seeing like their torso, like mid shoulders up, and then him pulling away and seeing the monster behind watching. That's all we needed.
That was plenty. Yeah,
didn't need 7-10 seconds of watching them on the table.
That's the part that I was like, I get they're going for like setting a tone, like making it abundantly clear, like
this is R.
Like this is like, so I get that. I am also, and we talked about this a little bit, but I'll say it again here. I feel like that was mostly for like, they really wanted to drive the point home with this episode and with that scene. I don't think that's going to be like, I don't think that's necessarily what we're going to see throughout the whole show is that kind of thing.
I'm hoping what
not. I mean? I'm hoping not. There's one like, because we got a scene similar to that in the Suicide Squad, with Harley and the Prince, which was hysterical.
Yes.
We get one with Peacemaker and the lady that ends up being the butterfly, the freedom scene in the first episode. Great. Yeah. So it was, and I also think just because these are such short episodes, 22 minutes without credits, to get essentially 2 sex scenes in 22 minutes was, I think it was just a lot back to back. I think if they had been in different episodes, like if Rick and the princess had like concluded in the first episode and then the bride one was in this one, I think it would have been easier on the palate.
Yeah.
I think getting 2 of them of both that length of the, again, same level of gratuitousness. And again, not knocking on it being gratuitous. I think it was just a lot in a short amount of time.
Well, and this is where, look, do we want to harp on this or do we want to move on?
I think we've kind of said all we need. I think we've made our point. Yeah, I think at this point we're circling the drain. We had nothing against it. It was just a little much, more than it needed to be.
Because I guess on top of that, it's not needed.
Yeah, it didn't really serve a purpose.
I knew before that scene, they were in love.
Because we'd already had that moment where they kind of hold on each other a little bit
with the necklace and I already knew.
Yeah.
So that's where it was like,
and again, the scene of them being intimate itself wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't like the scene itself was fine. Like, yeah, having a scene of them being intimate and the monster and Frank witnessing it, I have no problem with that being there.
Yeah.
It was just too long. It was just, I didn't need 10 seconds held of his ass thrusting. I just didn't
Yeah.
need that. You know,
Yeah. But
all that to say, if that's like the one like complaint I've got, you know,
yeah.
I want to get into the rest of it because we got so many other characters we haven't delved into, but we got introduced to in these first 2 episodes. I've talked about him a lot. Dr. Phosphorus is very funny, voiced by Alan Tudyk. We saw some cool action stuff from him in the trailers that I can't wait to see in context. That's not, I didn't mention this at the beginning. They didn't show us shit in the trailers.
No.
Most of what we saw was in these first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dr. Phosphorus, Alan Tudyk. Yeah or nay?
You can't tell I'm smiling. No, I know you can't tell, but this is just a skeleton. I'm not smiling, but I am sarcastically smiling.
That was the scene that I texted you. This is my kind of humor. Yeah, this is 100% my kind of humor. Yes.
Yes.
That and just the first time we see Weasley's licking himself.
Yeah. Like Weasel was one of those, like, you just need to have some random crap happening in the background. That's fine. Let's have fun with it.
Sean Gunn had so much fun doing the mocap suit. You didn't want to give that up. It also has me feeling like G.I. Robot, since that's the other character that Sean Gunn's voicing. I feel like G.I. Robot might not make it out of this.
I'm wondering because, like, dude, G.I. Robot with his concept, like, is he a Nazi? And the gun comes out and he's like, he's not a Nazi. Oh, you're just like, this dude, this robot is, because it's a robot. You could have just shut him off. Why is he around unless you need him to do something?
Well, I think that's been their thing, is like I don't remember what Waller said. I don't know. I don't know enough about G.I. Robot to know. I don't know what keeps him running. I don't know.
Well, and if we go by these episodes,
is he just too dangerous? If they tried to turn him off and he's just killed them, I don't know.
No. Only Nazis turn off the robot. Yeah. But I think with the way that the second episode of the show went, where I think each episode's going to zero in on a character more, I think we're going to get definitely more with him. And I think that's cool. I think ultimately I'm sitting here going like, we're only got 7. Like,
and we've already burned through 2.
Yeah. We have 5 more for 4 other characters.
Yeah. And they're 20 something minutes a piece.
Yeah.
Now, again, I know that this is just meant to be our laying the groundwork. I know that this is just meant to be our, setting up, establishing a basis of canon and all that. But I am curious. I am curious how well we're going to do that in, 20 minutes times 7, 100, how well we're going to do that in essentially 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, and like, this feels to me like how fast we get in the second season announcement. Like, I feel like this is ending on a cliffhanger and we're getting a second season sooner than later.
That's why I posited earlier is like the series/season premiere.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but considering it's already certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and I will say, we had a lot of early reviews that came out from like people who got to see all 7 episodes, the first 3 episodes, like the guys over at DCU Film News did. And pretty much everybody said that, like, the first 2 episodes, I think the reason they put them out back to back, because that was a last minute decision ish. And I think that's because a lot of the early reviews and feedback that came out once the embargo was lifted were that the first 2 episodes was that it takes a little bit to get going, but once it does, it takes off running. So I'm wondering if he got that feedback from some of those early screenings and decided, well, then let's drop the first 2 episodes and then it can take off from there.
Yeah.
So we'll see next week, but if that's the case, then it seems like it's going to hold pretty consistent with the early reviews that came out, in which case we might be in for a hell of a rest of the first season.
Hey, I mean, as much as there's some weird stuff in the second episode, there's also some crazy awesome action. Watching Fish Girl and the Bride fight all these guys and go against Cersei, and it was fantastic. Like that's a thing.
That fight with Rick and Dr. Phosphorus in the first episode. You know what it was reminding me of was so when we were watching Batman Cape Crusader earlier this year, when Batman in that show punches dudes, you watch those punches land, and they're animated in such a way that you can almost feel them coming off the screen.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for the hits in this episode. It's really hard in animation. It can be really hard to show an escalation in a fight because it's animated and it feels like the stakes are smaller. Not in this show. Like when Rick and Phosphorus were fighting, like I felt those punches, and I liked that they made the fight realistic in that when Rick tried to touch Phosphorus, it fucking burned his hand.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can't just touch that guy.
Yeah. You didn't get the as much as I love those movies, Captain America punching Iron Man and it doesn't hurt him.
Well,
like, I know you have knuckles on your gloves, but that would still hurt.
Well, it's Captain America. Anybody else punching Iron Man, they're breaking their hand. Captain America punching, I can buy that.
Sure,
I can buy Captain America punching it. If Scarlett Johansson, if Black Widow punch, you can't have a lady named Scarlett and a character named Scarlett. I do it all the time. Anyway.
But no, it was. I think all the action here has done really well. I mean, as it sounds, we kind of got a weird on this, but I'm going to say it is like the fact that they spent some money in this animation. This show looks fantastic.
This animation's so good.
And given like, I'm going to poop on it because I don't want to watch it, but I think we may have to, is like, I don't like what they did with the Tomorrowverse. And that new Watchmen show looks like it's a stepbrother to that Tomorrowverse.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. This animation
we're reserving. We have put a pin in the Watchmen series, guys. We will revisit that after the holidays. We have some plans of things we're going to look at after the holidays, but like it's the holidays, so but yeah, we're aware that the Watchmen thing is on Max now. We'll see. Even I'm saying we'll see.
But I think the animation on this is beautiful.
I was worried from some of those trailers because I was like, I don't know, there was something about because it is a slightly low frame rate or something in the animation, but it's similar to like what they were going for with X-Men 97, but it feels crisper in a way. Like, and I know you weren't as big on the animation in X-Men 97. I was more okay with it.
I liked the animation. I don't like I think it was animated well. I don't like the style it was animated in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. I
had a problem with character design.
I get you. No, I get that. Yeah, Magneto with the gloves. That's anyway. That's a whole other thing. But I was really worried going. I was like, I just hope the animation looks clean.
And it looks great.
Oh, yeah.
And stacking on top of that, and this is, you may get mad at me, it's always 50-50 on whether a famous actor can do voiceover work.
Yes. No, I'm with you. There are some times when a actor, God, I don't know how to say it, a screen actor goes to voice.
Yeah. And
Chris Pratt.
Well, yes. Great in the Lego movies. I don't know why he's Garfield, but anyway. So
anyway,
all of the people here, I mean, Alan Tudyk, he's done it for decades. He's always awesome. But I think there was nothing in here that it was like, oh, that was bad. Like everybody here understood how to do the voiceover performance. And I think across the board is fantastic. So I think that was really, really cool. Even though,
Frank Grillo, I think, was the only one I was worried about.
Well, I think the only problem with Frank Grillo I got over quick was that it just, his voice coming out of that body was weird. And then
it's more of a disconnect with how he's animated or how he's designed, not that he's not doing a good job. But yeah, a lot of times screen actors go into a VO booth and just read off the page.
Yeah. So they I think all of that was really good. It was
David
nice to have him.
David
Yes.
Harbour, dude. I really hope the storyline with him and the bride is kind of carries throughout the whole season, because obviously he's going to be a big part. He's central to all the marketing with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
But like, David Harbour played that monster so tragically.
Yes.
Like, I was truly like taken aback by it, man. Like,
Well,
wow.
Look, I want to say we've all been there, but most of us have been where it's like, this is the girl I like, and suddenly she's with your friend, and you're like,
yeah,
you don't
obviously there's more to it than that, but like, yeah,
yes.
the boiled down version of this is like, yeah, the girl
I have a verbatim situation that I'm not going to discuss right now.
Yeah,
but the point is that a lot of people have done that thing of like, this is the person I like, my friend ends up with them. It's heartbreaking. But then to even step it further, where in his mind, you made her for me.
Yeah.
And dude, I did not laugh more than when they went time to time of all the times he caught up with her, and then she had to diss him, and it was and the different hair.
I was like, at first I was like, what is this song choice? What is happening? What is happening? Oh, it's a montage. Oh, thank Christ. Okay. Because at first I was like, James Gunn, you better be going somewhere with this, because this is a wildly tone deaf song choice. Oh, it's a montage. Okay. Okay. Woo. I will say though, per usual, it's a James Gunn property. Man, I cranked out my Shazam app so many times. I will say he loved Gogol Bordello in these first two episodes, man.
Yes, my wife was asking who it is, because she was like, I don't know if she liked it or not. It was kind of weird, but I think that'll be interesting to see.
It was not what I was expecting by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But by the end of the second episode, I was like, no, this fits the mood. This fits the mood. And then animating the singer and Shaggy for some reason into the montage. Somebody in a Discord server I'm in put a screenshot of Shaggy. By the way, yeah, I got there's like a guy who looks like Shaggy in that little montage, and somebody was like, bold of James Gunn to introduce the most like unstoppable power into the DC universe.
Hey, Batman has crossed over with Scooby-Doo several times.
True. And if there's anybody that can defeat Darkseid, it's Shaggy, dude. It's Shaggy, man.
Or a throat lozenge, but you have to be a Teen Titans Go fan to get that reference.
Nope. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to what more we're gonna get out of Zoe Chow as Nina, the amphibious member.
Yeah.
Because she's giving me Abe Sapien vibes in a way that I'm super into.
I think so. Yeah.
And there. Look, we already got Chekhov's water powers from Viola Davis, Amanda Waller, Jesus, where she said like, what good is she going to be? Wait till you get her in the water. It's like, well, thank you for that foreshadowing. All right, cool. GI Robot, man, what just somebody who is like, instead of counting sheep, I'm going to stand outside your door and count through all the times July 17th 1940 whatever 33 Nazis met their much timely demise. Oh, just so funny. God.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of this season.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that it's not 22 episode standard cartoon season.
I know,
but
this is one of those prime examples where it's like, you have given me something that is so intriguing, James Gunn, that I either want all of it now, or if you're going to if you're going to parse it out, man, I wish they were longer. It's like, you give me something it's like when you go to like one of those tapas restaurants where it's like, oh, tiny plates. No, I don't want 3 mini egg rolls. I want 3 whole egg rolls.
I need 2 burrito size egg rolls.
Yes, thank you.
Well, all right. So let me ask you this, and I think I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you think we get an announcement of season 2? Like, you think by episode 4, or do you think this is it? It's one and done.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we get one right away.
Okay.
I don't think we get one until further into the DCU. Because I think James Gunn is playing this smart, and he is not putting the cart before the horse. He's not going to announce a season 2 unless he has a script and an idea for season 2. And he has a place to put it. Until we know what the rest of the DCU is going to look like.
That's true.
I don't know. Because again, we're for all intents and purposes, we're playing with Suicide Squad rules here.
Yeah.
There is no guarantee any of these assholes outside of Rick Flag Sr. make it out alive.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one we know for a fact does.
Well, and I was going to say, like, 7's a weird episode count. So I'm wondering if you're going to do that He-Man Revolution thing where they were like, this is season 1. And then at the end of season 1, they're like, part 1, there's a part 2 coming.
Well, something to think about. We have 7 leads. Rick Flag Sr., The Bride, Frankenstein's Monster, Dr. Phosphorus, Nina, G.I. Robot, and the Weasel. We had an episode. Episode 1 was mostly Rick Flag Sr.
It's possible.
Episode 2 was Rick Flag Sr. and mostly. I think they could do all 7 episodes.
Yeah, I just
kind of how they should have done the Eternals.
Yeah.
I think a season 2 is likely. I think it's just going to depend on what James Gunn has planned. You know, I guess it's hard to say. It's hard to say with this.
I'm just saying. For me personally, as a cartoon aficionado, maybe 7's a weird number.
It is.
14 is even, though. I'm just saying.
It is, but I don't know.
Do we have a runtime?
That's some Netflix bullshit. No, we don't have a runtime. That was the whole thing. We didn't know these were going to be 22 episodes till we got them.
Or 22 minutes.
22 minutes until we got them. So, yeah, we don't have any runtime on the rest of these. I'm assuming they're all going to be like that.
I think that's where I'm
on Wikipedia, it just says runtime 21 to 23 minutes, but that might just be based on what we've already had released. So I don't, yeah.
Okay. That's my thing. I just kind of, because, look, they did that. I mean, I know it's more of a Netflix thing, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The monster does have a name, and it's Eric. I read that book when I was in high school. Okay.
It's okay.
Anyway, and plus also, we've got a whole subplot with Cersei and the sons of Themyscira. So yeah, who's to say, man? We got 5 more weeks to figure it out. And so to let everybody who's still here watching, and if you are still watching, first of all, thank you and subscribe. Go ahead and do it.
Subscribe.
Just do it. Just do it. It's fine. And if you're not watching on YouTube, just subscribe wherever you're getting the show. So we are not going to be covering this show week to week because it's the holidays. And I'm traveling. Matt's got plan. Just no, not happening. We will be back. So we have some episodes scheduled between now and then we will do a full finale and season review in January when the show wraps up the week of the 10th. So so we're not going to do week to week coverage of this. We'll post our thoughts on online. On Threads, maybe we'll post them as shorts on here as we go. We'll see, but yeah, we're not going to do week to week coverage of this because it's not happening.
Yeah,
not happening.
It's a bit much.
Sorry to the tens of you that are listening, but it's just not happening. But listen, if you are still hanging out with us, we really appreciate it. Make sure you guys make sure you guys are following us on social media at WATV Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. We're going to keep you updated with all the stuff going on there if anything changes as well. Obviously, we've heard new rumors of the Superman trailer now coming December 16th, but those rumors came from Grace Randolph, so take them with a huge grain of salt.
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about it. She is one of those scoop people who she's one of the people that James Gunn has name dropped as people he loves to prove wrong. Because she's wrong so often.
Nice.
So honestly, Grace Randolph, if you're saying it's going to be December 16th, James Gunn just made it December 17th.
Yeah. Fair.
He's like, oh, she got it right? Not anymore.
No.
So there we go. What we're really trying to say is that Grace Randolph, just stop, please. Anyway. I think that's it, Matt. I think we're good. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Please follow along with us. Find me on social media at Mr. Mike Shea.
You can find me on Twister at Mr. J. Woo! Twitter as Mr. J Ninja. But let me say this.
Oh, old.
I know, right? Let me say this. This is technically our last recording for the year.
Yes.
So
anything.
Everybody.
We're gonna have other episodes coming.
Yes.
We recorded them ahead of time.
And I don't know if we said it during those episodes, so I'm going to say it now.
Yeah.
Have a Merry Christmas,
Yes.
a Happy Holiday, a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope you celebrate it with friends.
Yeah.
You celebrate it safely. Please don't be stupid and do dumb crap with alcohol and driving around.
Yeah.
Stay home, be safe, have a good time. And when we come back, whether it's because Superman trailer drops and this is
obviously, if it drops, we will do our best as I knock my camera out of focus. I hate this camera so much. Obviously, if it drops, we will do our best to we will do a reaction to it as soon as we can.
Yeah.
But if it drops while I am halfway to North Canton for my grandma's Christmas party, it's waiting until I get back, okay? Because I'm not taking my computer with me.
But on the flip, we are more than responsive on social media during this time. So if you want to chat up movies, chat up what we've talked about here, please hit up on all the socials. Put the subscribe thing back. Put the subscribe thing back.
Seriously, guys. So by the way, I want to throw. I didn't bring this up, and I meant to. I put it up on social media, but I want to bring this up again. So we're already, by the time this episode drops on YouTube, it is way late. Like we didn't start recording until 3 p.m. on Friday, December 6th. It's been that kind of week. So it's already going up late. Who gives a shit? But I was going somewhere with this and I totally lost my train of thought.
So the point is that we will respond to things if you subscribe.
So comment, guys, we are so active on social media, and I'm logged into our social media. You guys can always hit us up on there to talk about stuff, comic books, whatever. We're always looking for you. Oh, I remember what I was gonna talk about. So the show premiered. The DCU, James Gunn's DCU. By the way, shout out to James Gunn for animating himself into the fucking credits of his own show as a way to just say, look, this is mine. If you love it, you're welcome. If you hate it, you know who to blame.
Yes.
Props to him for putting literally his likeness, like he is saying, I'm all in. This is mine. The show dropped on December 5th. December 5th is my dad's birthday. For those who don't know, my dad passed away several years ago, and December 5th would have been my dad's 69th birthday. Nice. My dad was a massive nerd, geek, comic book fan, DC fan. He handed me my first copy of The Dark Knight Returns that I read. One of those big copies too, those big giant print ones. He got me into so much nerd stuff. And, it bummed me out that he never got to see where things were going with he didn't get to see Infinity War, stuff like that. He didn't get to see a lot of some of those things. But so it was cool that I got to watch this show on my dad's birthday. What was also cool was we crossed 52 subscribers the day this came out, which 52, we're a DC podcast. 52. So, but yeah, please subscribe, guys. We love chatting with you guys anywhere and all the time. This is just two dudes who are nerds and just have entirely too much free time.
Obviously, nerds.
we have nothing else better to do at 5 o'clock Eastern on a Friday night when you're at work and I'm at home. Hopefully, if you guys are enjoying the show, let us know down in the comments or on social media, and we will see you again next time here on We Are the Batman, same bat time, same bat podcast channel.